Lee, this next question is about an empath who's being accused of being a narcissist, and it does make me laugh because I think of the photo for the course and those moments of going, am I an empath? Am I a narcissist? Am I? So I'll read you this question. As a mostly healed empath, at least in terms of the empath-narc dynamic, how do I avoid recurrent situations where other wounded empaths latch on to me, casting themselves in the helper role because they somehow seem to think they're spiritually superior to me, and then they turn controlling and manipulative, and in 2 cases now actually cast shame and blame on me and label me to others as a narcissist because I've stated my boundary and my feelings very clearly and directly. I have got caught up in a narc dynamic for a while, but this pattern repeats in my friendships.
Spiritually superior people, don't we love them? I think idealization comes up here for me. I don't know about you guys, but when I first, kind of became open to metaphysics again, I was 17 years old. And then between the ages of 17 and 26, 27, which was 27 was when I started this work, I went through a decade of personal development, metaphysical discovery, the whole thing. And I idealize spiritual people, like we all do. It's like, oh, well, they're a healer. Oh, they do Reiki. They must be lovely. And it was bullshit. What I learned was you should never idealize anybody unless you're absolutely accurate, because the patterns of their behavior, the patterns of the chemistry dynamic between you two, because there can be amazing people in the world doing amazing things that you're not really designed to get on with, and that's okay. You cancel each other out. There doesn't need to be 2 of you in a room. But equally, there can be people who want to take you down, and so the cluster B personality type comes up here for me with what you're talking about, because especially really what they're doing is they're playing a power game. So they are deflated in their own sense of self-worth or power. And so they are not only wanting to strip you of your power. Anytime anybody clusters on you, anytime anybody tells a bunch of other people some stuff about you, they're trying to take power away from you, which means they feel you have power. Whether it's power over them that they don't like, whether it's power over the group that they think if they get rid of it, they are attributing you as a powerful person. So that's what's happening to you. You are being seen as a powerful person by these people who want to then, because of their own ego wounds or their own power wounds, want to take you down. So start looking for the red flags earlier. People are really easy to see. Trust me, 14 years ago, I would have sat hostage to somebody for 40 minutes in a conversation that I now identify what's going on usually within a minute. And then I let it run for a few minutes just to see if those patterns are true and I'm correct. Because, I'm always willing to be wrong. And sometimes someone surprises you. A bit of a weird thing comes out in the first minute, but then they calm down and it's okay. But I make notes of those things. And I'm not saying I go home and write them down. I've learned that if I'm not aware, if I'm not tracking what's going on, I'm screwed. So I have to track what's going on, because I've learned that as someone who is very sensitive to energy, if I'm not aware of what I'm drinking and eating from the people around me in the energy they're sending my way, and equally, if I'm not tracking what I'm sending out, the day where you go, oh, I'm not really being much fun at this party for anybody, I think I'll go home, or I think I'll call a friend and say, hey, I'm having a bit of a funky day, can you help me? It goes both ways, none of us are perfect. So spiritual superiority is so boring, but it happens a lot. And I think it's always interesting when people think they know the rules. I'm like, no, we're all human. From my perspective as a channeler, the more I've seen up there and out there, the more I realize it's endless. The more I learnt, the less I realized I knew. So instead, I bring it back to direct experience. And for me, a spiritually superior person, my version of a spiritually superior person is someone who I see exhibiting an attribute that's really high that I haven't yet developed. So whether it's someone who's amazing at just being, ultra truthful in the face of conflict, but without blaming me or judging the person they're talking to, and just going, hey, that felt a little, I'm always like, brilliant, wow, that's something for me to walk towards. So a spiritually superior person is a spiritually inferior person. Stop playing with them. Stop getting involved with them. Start seeing them earlier. You will. And start seeing what the game is, and start seeing that it's your light or your energy that they're attracted to, but you're wasting it on them because they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to ebb and flow it. They don't know how to give it back. They don't know how to be unconditional. That's going to cost you. So what I would say in the situations where you've been publicly wronged is, what does that bring up for you? That humiliation? Is it a past life thing? Is there something that you feel from your past that you have shame for? And can you rewrite the script? So I would write down for myself, if you're not going to say this to the narcissist, I would write down for myself, I love you. I know you are doing your best. You are not the sum of how they want to describe and define you. It's all going to be okay. Because we get hooked in, oh my God, if I'm just that evil narcissist, well, no. I mean, even those of us that have loved narcissists, we know that they're not just always in the evil mode. Otherwise, and evil is a strong word, so for some of you that will be too much, but you're more than the villainy that someone wants to put on you. And if someone wants to put villainy on you, do you really want to mess around with them? Because they're playing a game that you're not playing. And that's a game that's going to hurt you, has hurt you. So I would go back to the module where we talk about really paying attention to people's behaviors and really choosing to see clearly what's going on, even if we don't like it. So thank you for your question and good luck.